Hey everyone, today's true horror story was sent in by Kiran Acharya, and it actually happened to his own dad. So, let's dive right into it. That evening, my sister, my dad, and I were hanging out in the backyard, just sitting on a mat and talking. I was having some tea and cookies. It was late spring, right around April. After a brutally hot day, a really strong, cool breeze started blowing, and we were just loving the vibe. Just sitting out there chatting, I looked over and said, "Dad, it's been forever since you told us a ghost story. Come on, tell us one tonight." Dad laughed. "A ghost story? Right now? You and your little sister are gonna be too terrified to sleep tonight." "No way, Dad!" "You have to tell us one, please." After we begged him for a while, he finally gave in. "All right," he said. "Tonight I'll tell you about a real paranormal encounter that happened to me. I've only ever seen a ghost once in my entire life. It was absolutely terrifying. And honestly, by the grace of God, I'm lucky to be alive. The year was 1998, way before you guys were even born. I was about 26 or 27 at the time. I had just opened up a new storefront in the village market, right near the local Narsing temple. Usually I'd close up shop and head home around 9 or 9:30 p.m. But on days when business was crazy or I had extra inventory to clear, I wouldn't end up leaving until 10 or 11 at night. I had been running the shop for about 2 years, and business was growing. Life was good. But then came that Saturday. I was buried in work, and by the time I finally locked up the shop, it was almost 11 p.m. I hurriedly grabbed my bag and my flashlight and started walking down my usual route home. After walking for a bit, I passed the temple and reached the center of the market. Back then, the area wasn't developed at all. As I walked down the main road, almost every single shop on both sides was completely pitch black and locked up. There was barely a soul in sight. I kept my head down, just walking, not really paying attention to my surroundings. But after a few minutes, I realized the streets had gone dead silent. The few people I had seen earlier were completely gone. The only sound left was the loud chirping of crickets, echoing through the empty roads, and occasionally the chilling howl of a fox in the distance. That's when the isolation started getting to me. A sudden wave of anxiety hit my chest. My body started feeling strangely heavy. I thought to myself, this is weird. I walk home late all the time, and I've never felt like this. Suddenly, I got this overwhelming gut feeling that I was being followed. I could literally hear footsteps tracing right behind me. Without thinking, I whipped around. Standing just a short distance away was an old woman draped in a stark white sari. She had a heavy veil pulled over her head, completely obscuring her face. I froze, totally caught off guard. What on earth was an old woman doing out here alone past 11 p.m.? My first instinct was to walk over and ask if she needed help. But as I took a step toward her, I noticed something deeply unsettling. She was staring at me sideways, this bizarre, unnatural glare. Looking closer at her, everything inside me screamed that this was not a normal human being. Panic started to set in. A voice deep in my soul told me, "Do not go near her." So I turned around and started booking it down the road toward my house. After walking for a bit, I realized something strange. The footsteps behind me had completely stopped. Feeling a knot in my stomach, I slowly glanced back over my shoulder. The road was entirely deserted. My mind started racing. Where could she have gone? The road was a straight shot with absolutely no side streets or detours. On both sides of the road, there was nothing but endless, wide-open, muddy fields. Trying to rationalize it, I thought maybe she had just wandered off into the fields to get to her house. I raised my flashlight and scanned the open fields. Nothing, she was gone. Out here on this lonely, dark road, I was completely exposed. I felt totally helpless. At that point, I decided I just needed to get home as fast as humanly possible. I started power walking, but it felt like the road was stretching on forever. Suddenly, I aimed my flashlight ahead and my heart dropped into my stomach. There she was, the exact same old woman. The one who had been behind me just moments ago was now standing far down. The road right in front of me. I kept my eyes locked on her as I walked. But after just a few steps, she vanished into thin air right before my eyes. In that exact moment, all doubt left my mind. I knew exactly what I was dealing with. I remembered the old campfire stories. The elders in the village used to tell about an evil, malevolent spirit that wanders the night in white clothes. Terrified, I picked up my pace. Ahead, the road was lined with tall palm trees leading up to my house. But as I approached them, I looked up, and my blood ran cold. The tops of two massive palm trees had bent all the way down to the ground, arching together, and that old woman was perched right on top of them. Her long white hair was writhing around her head like a nest of snakes, and she was staring down at me with a breathless, dead-eyed glare. Seeing that, my stomach completely twisted. My arms and legs began shaking uncontrollably. The entity just sat there, pinning me with its gaze. I told myself, you need to run. Run for your life right now. But when I tried to move, my legs wouldn't cooperate. It felt like an invisible weight was crushing me, like my bones were about to snap. I couldn't even lift my feet off the ground. Since I couldn't run, I tried to scream out the holy name of Lord Ram for protection, but my throat was so tight from sheer terror that not a single sound came out. Desperate, I just started chanting it over and over again in my head. Ram, Ram, Ram! Suddenly, a horrific, raspy voice echoed right in my ear. Hey, boy, don't you dare utter that cursed name! I've seen people try to use that name to survive me 1,000 times. It didn't save them, and it won't save you tonight. Drop the flashlight right now, or I will rip your throat out. Hearing that voice, my breath caught. I realized something crucial. The flashlight I was holding had an iron casing. Because I was holding on to iron and keeping the light on, the spirit hadn't been able to possess my body or physically touch me yet. That realization gave me a sudden burst of adrenaline. I gripped the flashlight tighter and began screaming the holy name out loud with everything I had. Ram, Ram, Ram! The entity shrieked back. You think that little name can save you? You can't do anything to stop me. I'm going to snap your neck tonight. I completely broke down. Tears were streaming down my face, and I was hyperventilating, having no clue what to do next. But then, in an instant, the spirit vanished from the trees. I told myself, this is your only chance, run! But the moment I tried to bolt, she materialized right in front of me on the road. She glared at me, spitting out a vile insult, and hissed, You got lucky tonight. If it wasn't for this, I would have torn you to pieces. And just like that, she dissolved into the darkness. I stood there frozen, trembling, not understanding why she had suddenly given up. But about 10 seconds later, it hit me. From down the road, I heard the faint squeaking of an old bicycle chain. Someone was coming. That was why the spirit fled. As the bike got closer, I shone my flashlight and saw Nitai Uncle. He was a local doctor who lived right next door to us, likely riding home late after checking on a patient. I have never been more grateful in my entire life. That man unknowingly saved me from something truly evil. He pulled up, looked at me, and asked, Hey, what are you doing standing out here in the dark so late? I couldn't even form words. I just stood there crying, pointing my flashlight up at the distorted, bent tops of the palm trees. Nitai Uncle looked up, turned pale, and said, Oh, I get it. Get on the back of the bike. I'm taking you home right now. I didn't hesitate. I jumped on the back of his bicycle, and we finally made it back to the house safely. With that, my dad finished his story. And honestly, sitting there in the dark backyard, listening to what he went through, I was absolutely terrified. What would you do if you were in his place? Would you drop the flashlight or keep running? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to hear another terrifying true horror story, click on the video right here on your screen. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more nightmare fuel. Stay safe out there. What would you do if you were in his place? Would you drop the flashlight or keep running? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to hear another terrifying true horror story, click on the video right here on your screen. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more nightmare fuel. Stay safe out there.